You know, having that opportunity to watch Utah for the last couple of days, you know, it looks like, again, another really physical, well-coached Kyle Whittingham football team. You'd expect nothing less from them. Offensively, have really used two quarterbacks this season. I thought Huntley did an unbelievable job in the first 4 games. Really a dual-threat athlete that can spin it and really dangerous with his feet, averaging over 50 yards a game. 73% completion ratio. We'll see where he's at and see if he's back. Obviously, Troy has come in the last couple games. Thought he did a really nice job in finishing up the Arizona game. We know Troy very well from being right here from the Los Angeles area and having competing against him last year and know what he can do. Very dangerous person again with arm and legs. A little bit more balanced offense this year by Utah. I think a little bit has to do with a new coordinator in Troy Taylor. You know, you really at Utah, you think more running-oriented offense, but they've really got a nice balance going. I think Troy's done a really good job, as well as having one of maybe the best wideout we've faced all season in Carrington, and basically catching over 100 yards a game with him. Defensively, by far the largest front that we'll face, depending on where their health is on their defensive ends. You know, they lost a couple and basically took defensive tackles and basically went straight across in a 4-down scheme. Every man is over 300 pounds. Some of them are 320, 330. So by far the biggest front that we'll face. And as a tandem, the best 2 linebackers. The tremendous experience by both kids, and find a way to get to the ball extremely well as a defense. Playing a lot of man coverage, a lot of cover 3, loading the box, only giving up 18 points a game and about 314 yards. So always a physical, hard knocks game when you play Utah. You know, you got 2 teams that are sitting at the top of the Pac-12 South. Going to be a heck of a ball game. Looking forward to it. Injury-wise, you know, Porter Gustin is still out with toe and bicep. Jordan Iosef is still going through concussion protocol. Chuma Adoga is working through the ankle injury. We'll work him a little bit tomorrow and see where he's at. Stephen Carr is still out with the foot. Daniel Mortabebe actually got some practice today. Looked good. We'll see soreness coming back tomorrow, and really working to try to get him back in football shape. And Jalen Green is out with concussion, and then 2 surgeries today. Vianney was a very successful surgery on his pectoral muscle. We wish him a speedy recovery, and unfortunately Marlon Tuipulotu had to have season-ending back surgery today, so he will be out for the rest of the season. He was 4 games or under, so he can't get his redshirt year back. With that, I'll take any questions that you have.
With Marlon, is that a long-term concern?
No, I think it's something that they've got fixed. It looks like it was from maybe a previous injury at an early age. He's been fighting through it since he's been here, and just at this point in time, our doctors said, you know what, let's take a look at it and go there. And there was something that they needed to get fixed. So for the big picture, it's very, very positive for him. It was actually better than they thought, and the future is bright for the kid.
When did it flare up here?
It started actually in spring. It actually started in spring, just with trying to get some core strength and having, you know, just back pain. And then as we went through the season, he just experienced more and more, and got to the point where, you know, they diagnosed MRIs and said, "Coach, we need to go ahead and fix this."
What was the injury?
What specifically, what was it?
I'm not a doctor. It's just a lower back injury that they had to go in and fix.
Coach, you mentioned the Pac-12 South implications behind this one. How much do you have to tell the guys the importance of this game, or the leaders in the team really taking charge in that regard?
Yeah, no question. Everybody knows where we sit, and we know that these are, between ourselves and Utah, we always seem to be up at the top and always battling for first place. And Utah's done a great job under Kyle for several years now, and it's become one of those games that, you know, Utah has, I think, been in the league 8 years now, but this has really become a nice rivalry football game in the South also. It reminds me of a Stanford ball game, just the physicality of it when you play their team. And with this defensive front, it will be a very physical game.
You guys have given Rojo a bit of a lighter load the last couple of weeks coming back from injury. Could he take on like a full load in this game?
You know, he fought through an ankle last game. He was very consistent, like I said, during the game, averaging 6.6 a carry. But you know, we got what we could out of him. We rested him on Monday. He got work today, but limited, and hopefully through the rest of the week, we'll try to get him to the game and feel hopefully better than even last week.
Sam is 14-2. This is one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Do you sense if there's any unfinished business with him or this team the way that thing ended last year?
We know this is the game that held us out of playing for a Pac-12 title, and to lose that game last year in 16 with the last 16 seconds was heartbreaking for our football team, but I thought really set the tone for the rest of the season. And it was Sam's first game, his first loss, and how he came back from that I thought was very impressive. It's a game that is imperative for our future as far as the Pac-12. You know, you get done with that Pac-12 North play, and here comes the Pac-12 South, and you got 5 right in a row, and you went out, and you're going to go play for the Pac-12 championship.
Sam said that the coaches talked to him about his remarks after the game on Saturday.
I visit with Sam every Monday, and it was a nice discussion, and I'll leave that between coach and player. And like I said earlier, we have great players, great coaches, and they're doing a wonderful job together.
He said he apologized for his comments.
He didn't apologize to me. He's a wonderful person. He's a kid that. He's a kid that, in my person, like I said earlier, with our coaches and our players, we all have very, very high standards. And when you're basically putting up 36 points a game and 470 yards, and you still want more, that's pretty good by your players and coaches. And you know, he's a young man that I know was taken a little bit out of context, and he's always been a kid that owns up to everything, and that's why I love him for it. He's tremendous.
How did you guys react after the Utah game last year? Because it's a loss, it hurt you guys in the big picture, but you figured out your quarterback situation.
Yeah, you know, it's something that after that game, I remember just being sick for the kids and saddened for the kids because of the preparation that they put into it. But also, I came away inside smiling because I knew we had a good football team and a team that was progressing each and every week. And you had found your quarterback. You know, even though there were some mistakes in that game, he played exceptionally well in that environment in Rice-Eccles Stadium. And you just kind of knew, okay, this is the last piece of the puzzle that's going to put us over the top to be a successful football team. And credit to our kids. You know, it was a loss that could either end your season or spark your season, and it ended up sparking our season.
This is the first game where Sam, when he looks at the film, he's seen a system that he's gone up against before. It's, you know, a repeat opponent, and they're running the same defense they were a year ago. What could that mean for him as a quarterback?
Say it one more time.
Oh, it's the first game where Sam's looking at the film and he's facing the defense that he faced with the same system. What could that mean for him as a quarterback?
You know, it's something that helps you when you're playing the same opponent, even from a personnel standpoint, when you know their personnel and personnel matchups. You know, this is the second year in a row that we've seen Utah in more of a 4-down scheme. If you remember a couple of years ago, they were odd front pressures all over the place. And, you know, he's done a terrific job of learning as he goes. He's 14-2 as a starter. Here he comes up against Utah again, an opponent that he's seen before, and knows it's going to be a challenge. They play good football. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Josh Follow reels in his first career touchdown pass the other day. How much more can we expect to see him involved in that passing attack as a tight end?
He's a weapon, I think, and you can see how he can push the field vertical. It's one of the things that we look into our tight ends all the time is not only do we want physical blockers, but the first thing we ask ourselves is can they push the ball vertically down the field. And there was a great example. We've been trying to get him loose for a couple games now, and great opportunity. I tell you, a hidden gem on that protection. If you go back and watch that play, was said where we had zone pressure from the field, and he backdoors, picks up a huge pressure, and gave Sam enough time to find Josh. It was a good read, good protection, good throw.
Let's do one more.
What did you think of Gary Anderson stepping down?
I was sad, Scott, to be honest with you. We've got a lot of respect, not only for Gary but that staff. I've been doing it 23 years. I've been in that situation sometimes twice here as an assistant coach, and it's hard. You hate it for families, but it's also something you got to remember as a coach when you're in that situation. We're here to help kids and make it a great experience for them. And I remember those 2 seasons even here, looking up at the end of it and being so proud of the men that were around us and the experience, and it's some of the fondest memories I've ever had. So I wish nothing but the best for those men and those families. It's part of the business, and it's the hardest part of the business. So God bless to them, and wish nothing but the best for them.
Okay.
All right, thank you.